23-21 in Tuscaloosa. We are happy to be joined by Brian Brinkley. And Brian, we got a chance to talk to you last week about just where this Oklahoma football team was. Got a big win over Tennessee, and then now go another road trip to Tuscaloosa and go beat Alabama. What did you make of Coach Brent Venables' team being able to pull off this game in Alabama's 8-game winning streak?
That's a huge win, and let's face it, the defense is what won that football game, and that's, I think, why Brent Venables is extra happy about the way that happened. I mean, you look at it, I think Alabama had 25 more snaps than OU. I think I heard a stat, it was the OU's fewest total yards gained in a win in 24 years.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Which had been 0-1. I never did go back to see which game that was, but I know the 0-1 OU offense had some issues. So that doesn't surprise me. And the 0-1 OU defense was also very good. So those turnovers were huge. I said it last week. I think they're going to need to get some turnovers. And by George, not only do they get a turnover, they get another defensive score in the first quarter to kind of get some early momentum and quiet the crowd in Tuscaloosa. And then I thought OU really played with a lot of poise after that, because Alabama kept making – Alabama answered just about every time they needed to answer until the last drive.
Absolutely.
And it still took a deflected pass there by Peyton Bowen at the end to clinch it. But what a gutsy effort by that Sooner team. And the offense did what they needed to do. It wasn't a great offensive performance, but they did what they needed to do to get a win, and obviously a place that not a lot of visitors come away with W's.
For sure. We talked about John Mateer a lot at the beginning of the season because it looked like he was leading his team. The numbers weren't gaudy, but they were there. And then after the hand injury, there was some question marks. But it feels like over the last couple of weeks, in the game in Knoxville, in the game in Tuscaloosa, you're starting to see remnants of the old John Mateer, that 20-yard touchdown run. It felt like he was getting back there. What did you make of Mateer, his game, and just being able to control the game and control the offense, and like you said, do what they needed to do?
I think that as we're watching this, because I didn't see much of Mateer before he got to Oklahoma, as I'm watching him as this season goes on, I'm kind of seeing what his personality as a player is and as a leader. And he's just one of those, I hate to compare him to Baker Mayfield, but he's just a whatever it takes kind of guy. And he's got this grit and toughness about him. His game, sometimes it's pretty, but it's not always pretty. Even the run was kind of just this weird twirling, spinning, bouncing off people, but he got into the end zone. That kind of defines John Mateer, I think. And I think he's one heck of a leader for this offense. And he, specified it on the post-game interview. It wasn't you getting the win, it was we getting the win. It wasn't John Mateer got a win, it was Oklahoma as a team. And he went out of his way to praise what the defense did, because obviously they put OU in some very good positions. I think Oklahoma's got quite a leader at quarterback, maybe the best they've had since Jalen Hurts.
Brian, I want to talk about the defense a little bit, because heading into this game, all the talk was about the secondary just unable to just be able to contain some of these guys. I think they allowed 700-plus passing yards over the last two games, the Ole Miss and Tennessee. How impressed were you of the Oklahoma defense, making Ty Simpson look lost out there almost?
It was very impressive. And like one of those sacks is a Devon Jordan, who hasn't played much, on a corner blitz, and Alabama had no clue he was coming. I mean, that's a little bit of what a Brent Venables defense does, and this defense is learning and progressing as the season goes on. They gave up some plays. I mean, Cuevas goes untouched on the 25-yard touchdown pass, but generally I thought they really kept Ty Simpson uncomfortable, and the Eli Bowen pick six as well. That pass was nowhere close to where it needed to be, and OU's right where they needed to be, gets the pick and the return. I thought it was a tremendous performance. I mean, they gave up some plays, but they made more plays than they gave up.
Absolutely. We'll get your thoughts about this defense here, because Mason Thomas in this football game. But I'll tell you what, Taylor Wine really came to play. It just feels like this defense has that next man up mentality, and to me, that I think that kind of stems from the coach. What did you make of Brent Venables just being able to say, hey, this is what we have, this is what we can control, and then taking his team and being able to execute the way that they did?
I think that's That's exactly the way Brent Venables wants his defense to be.
Yep.
Right there, as next man up. Now, it's great to have a star. If you have an All-American at linebacker or defensive line, that's tremendous. But they're so deep. We've talked about it throughout the year. It's really a very strong two-deep defense. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the best OU's two deep on defense they've had ever, or at least in a long, long time. And so I wasn't really that concerned about our Mason Thomas being out. Obviously, he's a great player. He's probably OU's best defensive player, but they got so many guys who want to get in there and can play at a very high level. It just meant more opportunities for some of those other guys. And Taylor Wine, I think, is one of the more underrated guys in the SEC. And we saw the play he made there late in the game to cause the turnover, which was really kind of the final, not really the final straw there, but it was just a huge play to give Oklahoma a chance to take the lead back, which they did, and they didn't give it up after that.
Absolutely. We'll get your thoughts on the playoffs, the potential playoffs, in just a bit. Here is head coach Brent Venables on getting that win.
Again, I think that we've recruited a lot of really tough guys that believe in themselves and each other, and certainly in how we do what we do. And we try to put a lot of stress and pressure on them constantly as we develop our team. And at the end of the day, man, the guts and the will and the edge and the belief that comes from our players, and we try to create vision for them. I think it kind of starts with that, and then it's belief, and then you got to be willing to kick the door in and take the action that it requires, and be the one that kind of lines up, get nose to nose, and it's about competing to win, and everything has magnitude and everything matters. So our players have really bought into that, and they haven't flinched. When the fire is raging and things are looking a little desolate, man, they have responded several times this year, and certainly have the last couple of weeks when it mattered the most. So just have a lot of respect for our players. I thought they put respect on, again, our brand again this week, and for this program, for this team, 131, and certainly in this conference. I thought they represent themselves in an incredible way.
So everybody's now talking about the playoff and potential playoff, and everybody's trying to forecast what that 12-team bracket will look like. As it stands right now, no, the AP poll doesn't matter big picture, but it is a nice little precursor. As it stands right now, Oklahoma is the highest-ranked two-loss team according to the AP poll. What do you think we'll see coming up tomorrow from the committee? And do you believe that this team, if they win out, they are going to be a part of that final 12?
Well, as far as the committee goes, I have no clue. Some of the things they come up with, who knows? Yeah. But I do think OU's in if they win their last two. I mean, if you're a 10-2 Oklahoma team with what they've done in the league this year, two huge road wins against Tennessee and Alabama. The Michigan win is looking pretty good from what they did earlier in the season. I think Oklahoma is in. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, where they are as a seed is going to be up for grabs, and will they be able to get a home game, et cetera. But I think if they take care of business, these last two games, both at home. But I tell you, the Missouri game, of the two, the Missouri game is the one that worries me. Missouri, first of all, Ahmad Hardy just went nuts Saturday with 300 rushing yards. I think he's going to be the best back OU faces all year. So as good as OU's run defense is, that's going to be their stiffest test. And Missouri's got a long history of playing Oklahoma, of course, played in the Big 8 and the Big 12. They have not won in Norman since 1966.
Wow.
So, and of course they won last year in Columbia over Oklahoma. So there's going to be some major motivation for Missouri to play spoiler. And after the back-to-back, now there's a bye week, but back-to-back wins at Tennessee and Alabama, if there's a letdown fear for Oklahoma, it's Saturday at home against Missouri, and it's one of those 11 a.m. kickoffs, which you always got to be wary of.
Oh yeah, and we saw the way that bit Texas A&M in the early stages of that football game, had to rear back into it. We'll see if the Oklahoma can put it together, and I'm right there with you. I think if they win out, they are in a couple of tricky football games there.